Hello friends, Dr. Motley here with the Ancient Health Podcast. Today we're going to talk about hormonal health, night sweats, imbalances in testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone, and its relationship to a toxic liver, especially with those that are basically full of liver flukes. Now, this may be a queasy subject to many of you, but it is a reality that I see in the office every single time I'm in the clinic, and I want you guys to get a heads up and to help clean these things out of your body so that you can actually help your hormones. It's very important to us because as we get older, we want to keep our muscle mass strong with testosterone. We want to keep our emotions settled with good estrogen. And we also want to make sure that we get good night's sleep with progesterone levels that are very adequate, even as we process and get older. It's a misunderstanding in my world that we think as we get older, oh, I'm just getting older and that's how it is. I'm just going to get flaccid and we'll get loose in our muscles and our sleep's going to get shorter and shorter. We get up earlier and without any mistake, everybody will put that into the arena of being old. But there are many practitioners out there, many healthcare specialists that say, no, you can actually defy these types of hormonal changes if you not only work out your muscles, work out your body, but if you also clean out the liver. Now, we're going to talk about the effects of parasites. We're going to talk about how you could get them. We're also going to talk about what are the herbs that can actually help you cleanse them out. But all the while, this is going to be an adjunct for you guys listening out there to be able to use these small processes to clean your body and your liver out so that your bioidentical hormone therapy can help work even more efficiently. That the things you're doing, taking progesterone cream or testosterone or estrogen, whether you're a person that likes the synthetic type or the more natural type of creams or capsules, this can help you in that arena. So when we talk about the liver is an organ that helps detoxify you. It helps you clean out your blood. In Chinese medicine, it helps you create bile. It helps to create methylation processes that help you restore your bone structure, increase your immune system, helps you fight off cancers. But it also, in a nutshell, helps you create hormones. And the hormones we most often hear about are going to be testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. And they're all built from a basic building block known as progesterone. Take that back, pregnenolone. So, pregnenolone is a building block that leads to progesterone formation. It also helps create cortisol. And that pregnenolone takes the progesterone and turns it into DHEA, which then it becomes testosterone. And then the testosterone will break down eventually into estrogens. So if you have problems with your hormones, there is a big possibility that the liver is congested and the liver is toxic. And we call that liver blood stagnation, liver qi stagnation, where the liver blood and the liver qi is stagnant. It's sitting there. But why? Do you remember when you're young and you spend lots of your time, maybe swimming in lakes and rivers, or you're out in the woods, or you play with your animals, play with your dogs, or at any time, you could be in an environment where you're eating lots of undercooked meat. Those are not bad things in themselves at all. So please don't take it that way. But if that's happened to you, know this, that those can be possible ways that flukes can get into the system. Flukes can get into your system through dirty city water, tap water. And this is not to sound negative, but what I want you guys to realize is that we can't go back every time and try to find out every way we could get liver flukes or get parasites. You can get parasites through the dirt. Like not leishmania, you can get strongyloides through the dirt. You can get leishmania through sandflies and mosquitoes. These are names of parasites that we get, and we don't even know it. And most of the time, we can live our lives safe and sound, fighting them off and moving through our day. But when we talk about liver flukes, there is the arena in this study that it can last for many, many years. In fact, the studies have shown that some can last up to 30 years. And that is why when individuals come to me, they'll tell me about their bowel movements and not making light of it. I had a patient that told me last week that she was releasing parasites after I had been working with her with black walnut, and she was releasing these little flakes. They looked like flakes. And then there were the little gray rubber looking balls. And the flakes are a type of fluke. There are many types of fluke. And there are sinensis. There are liver flukes, lung flukes, brain flukes. There are intestinal flukes. And they just feed off your blood. The gray ones are usually the more immature. There's some clear ones that are probably more towards the early stage development. And then you have the red blood-filled ones that look like almost up to dime-sized, like tomato peeling globs that come out of your poop. And if you've ever had a time when you were releasing this like tomato skin looking globs in your bowel movements, those are more than likely flukes. So the patient was releasing these, and she did that for 2 more weeks, and she started doing colonics, and she came in and she was like, you would not believe what is coming out of my colonics. And I was like, well, explain. And some of the flukes looked like round globs, blood-filled, and they were sticking to the sides of the tube in the colon therapist colonic machine. Now, many of you out there are going to be like, why am I listening to this? This is gross. No, the good news is that it's cleaning out of her. She had always had a ring of chapped lips around her mouth, dried peeling lips that burnt, could never lose weight, always had to watch every single thing she ate. Hormones were out of balance. She felt like the hips were never going to reduce in weight. Her shoulders were even thick. These were concerns. After she started to cut out her sugars, and then we started this, she started to drop weight. She dropped weight significantly when she stopped the sugars. But why? Because the parasites eat up the sugars. They metabolize it. They'll metabolize fats. So as she started to remove them, other infections came out. She told me that she was releasing long worms out of her bowel movements in the colonic therapist clinic. But she's feeling better than she ever has before. She had more energy, guys, I'm telling you, than I've ever seen with her in the years I've treated her. She gets grossed out. But now as she's cleaning out, as she's moving forward, she is creating this world that she's able to be there more for her kids. She's able to laugh more. She's smiling more. It's really good to see a friend open up and be more strong in their life just because they removed these small little microbes out of their gut. Now, as she's cleaning this out, her hormones are starting to get regulated, and she's on a path. At first, she would almost get grossed out. She'd be like, this is the most nasty thing I've seen. But to me, it's not. To me, it's the most encouraging thing. Cleaning them out, getting these parasites out. So you can get the flukes from many different sources. But the flukes can have small baby flukes. Yes, there can be male and female. So as they get into the liver, they burrow in. And they like to attach to the tissue of the liver. And so they attach to the tissue of the liver, and then they start to reproduce because they're pulling into the blood proteins, they're taking in the dead organic material of your tissues, and they're metabolizing it. Some individuals say that parasites actually help you in many ways. I'm not disagreeing with that. But when it starts to go into the arena of eating your cholesterol, metabolizing your cholesterol, then you're taking away the building blocks of pregnenolone, i.e., you can't make progesterone. You can't make testosterone or estrogen. You guys see the relationship? Very simple. Parasites in the body go to the liver, heat up your cholesterol that the liver's making, and then you can't make the hormones. You don't have a building block. So when we see that there are any types of clinical lab work that come in and their progesterone is low, cortisol is high, but their testosterone is getting very depleted along with their estrogen. Moderate progesterone, lower testosterone, lower estrogens. Their body heightens cortisol as it fights the infection. Internally, the body knows, and it tries to fight it off, so it's raising the cortisol levels, your stress hormones, to actually activate your internal body to go after these infections. As a fluke set in, they will be moving at night usually, and they're going to go in to metabolize the cholesterol and the hormones. And remember, the cholesterol is let loose to travel to the parts of your reproductive system, like the estrogens and the progesterones and the ovaries and the testes. So why do flukes go to the liver? Because it's an area where all the cholesterol is built. Why do parasites like to go to the testes and the ovaries? Because they're motivated by cholesterol. There's plenty of reports, even the CDC reports, that there is cholesterol-mediated types of parasites. There are parasites that feed off fats and cholesterols. Flukes, worms, and even protozoa parasite. So if you're a lady out there and you notice that whenever you have a cycle, you get worse headaches, you get heavy headaches, you get really bad cramps. If you feel hungry, if you feel like your mood completely changes, just know that there is a heavy possibility that there could be parasites. I use parasites.org. That's one place. Kim Rogers, she's on Instagram. She has a good test. It tests for even roundworms as well. And if you test for these, you're going to find out that they're going to be more in action when full moons come. They're going to be in more active forms whenever you have the cycle. So remember, if you see that there are activities in full moon and doing period cycles, even men have their own cycle, a very good possibility that there's parasites. It's going to give you migraines, headaches, swollen joints, constant hunger for sugar, not feeling like you'd be satisfied. You're going to go through your day with a head fog, especially through these times of the month. And if you get to a certain point in your life that you're saying, I've done everything I can to help my hormones, but nothing is working, nothing of the normal medical route, nothing is the medical route. But if it is, you definitely need to look into liver toxicity and parasites. So I would get, Kim Rogers has hers, I think it's called Parify. There are really good tests out there. I like hers. She goes by Mrs. Rogers Hood, like the neighborhood. But if you go to parasites.org, they have a really good parasite test. One of the better ones that I found. So when you see this, remember that you find out the parasites along with what you're doing. I know you want to take hormonal, vitamins and minerals, which I believe in. I think they're great. Even hormones for herbal hormones, supplements that work very well. So if you talk about shatavari, if you're talking about tulsi, holy basil, or something like suma root, they're really good. Mucuna bean, super great for hormones. But even if you're taking that, it's because there's an underlying cause within that liver that's making you have to take those hormonal supplements. So I always say, let's go to the bottom layers. And what I like to use, there's 4 I like. I like Artemisia. If you have children, you can use them. You can use a tincture. Woodland essences. has a tincture. That's woodlandessences.com. This is by Supreme Nutrition Products. It's probably one of my favorite brands. Top brand I use in my office. Dr. Michael Leibowitz and Noah Leibowitz. They're two docs that do a great job out in Hawaii. But Artemisia is known as sweet wormwood, and it will kill many protozoans and many worms. One of the go-tos, parasite cleansing. On their website, you can check them out at supremenutritionproducts.com, and you can look at their serving sizes. But usually these serving sizes are based upon 100 pounds of weight. So Artemisia says 2 capsules a day for every 100 pounds. You can go with that. But I love Artemisia. It's probably one of my main go-tos. Now for roundworms, like Strongyloides, Flukes, if you haven't had Taenia scolex, this is really great. Vedanga. Vedanga is awesome. It's a berry that they basically get into a powder form, and it's so good in Ayurvedic medicine to help clean up the roundworms, especially the liver. This is more gentle to me. Now, you can find Vedanga tinctures for your child, but remember, I always normally with the child take this supplement, and I usually go to half doses, even a third. Ask your primary care doctor if it's the way you want to go. I'm not saying that you have to do it this particular way. And if you have any questions, I want you to be able to talk to your doctor, your child's doctor, and see if this is something that's a possibility. But this is for you. So if you find parasites on yourself or your child, remember, you can use these. Mimosa Supreme, Mimosa pudica. It's X, like Velcro. Grows a lot in Hawaii and all around, in a few areas around the world. But they take the seed and they grind it down. And then the seed, it expands into the gut. And it actually will act like Velcro. It'll go through your gut, traveling through, grabbing all the larvae and all the small eggs, capturing it. Even smothering the roundworms. So some people say, oh, you're just getting mucus plugs with Mimosa pudica, these big long strings. Some of them are ropeworms, some are not. Doesn't matter to me. As long as you get the mucus out and the parasites out, because they will create literal biofilms. Goo, plaque in your gut, not just on your teeth with bacteria. Your lungs, your liver, your gut, your heart, sometimes your brain, they produce thick mucus. This will help go scrape them out. That's why people need biofilm busters. But mimosa, if you take it at night on empty stomach, I usually try to do at night on empty stomach and sometimes in the morning. But what happens is that it will go in and just pull that junk out of your gut. And then you have great bowel movements. Some people have taken it and they say, I really don't tell the difference. That's okay. What I do want you to know is that you have the options of going through these. You don't have to use one. Use one that works. Find the one that resonates with you. Have you ever been looking at something and go, I think that will work for me? That's what I want you to notice. Now, another one I love to do is going to be black walnut. This is one of my favorites. Black walnut supreme. Tastes good too for kids. So if you had children have it, especially, but make sure they don't have any type of nut allergens. But if you have children with suspected infections and parasites, you need to look at black walnut. I have seen it work wonders in children. I've seen it reduce and pull out parasites. Even my my nephew called me up and said he had worms in his stool. He was so proud of himself. I told him not to mess with it. Don't touch it. But I gave him a steady diet of black walnut and elderberry. He had swelling around his eye, up on the upper corner, which is related to the gallbladder. I did my kinesiology, I did my acupuncture testing, and he had parasites more than likely. Started giving him this. He started pooping them out, and now his face and that whole swelling above his eyes almost completely gone. These are the things I want you to look at. These four. You have the Artemisia, you have the Vedanga, you have the Mimosa, or the black walnut. If you like a complete tincture, I would go to Nature's Pharmacy LLC. Nature's Pharmacy LLC was created by my good friend, Dr. Alan Lindsley. I'm going to put a podcast on with him. We talk about mitochondrial health and Lyme disease and parasites, but he has a formula too called LSF2, and it's amazing. And remember, the LSF2 is good for parasites, and it has a combination of some of these. But if you're not wanting to take each one of these individually, you can take like a teaspoon in the morning, a teaspoon at night of that other LSF2, and you're going to see some good results. If you get sweats, or if you feel like you're getting very weak, you need to back off. Go half the dosages. That's recommended. But remember, this is all to help your hormones. If you go through this, I always say check your parasites every 3 months. Start taking these for a month. Maybe changing up to another capsule form, another herb. See if your hormonal symptoms reduce. Your hot flashes go away. Your hunger pains go away. Your cycles are less painful. No cramping. Your bloating, your gas, your constipation plus diarrhea, the mixture alongside your hormonal problems is a clear sign that there are parasites. And if you take these and they start to go away, remember, you can test every 3 months and see which ones are sticking around. Do research about herbs that help those parasites to clean out. You don't have to stick with these. I want you to find out what works for you. I want you to get healthy. Then see if your hormones start to regulate. See if you stop having those hormonal symptoms. It's an awesome thing. So check out these herbs, guys. Check out the parasites.org. I'm going to write those down and send them as show notes to the people who are producing this and the editor. And I want you guys to use these in adjunct to help with the liver flukes. They can last a long time. So if you got the liver flukes when you're younger, if you got it while you're younger, remember that it can stay there for a long time. So you have some back work to do to clean up those old things and to pull them up out of the liver. Don't be discouraged if you have to do liver cleansing for a year and a half, a heavy liver cleansing pattern. I stay doing liver cleanses and detox cleanses. I have my tinctures right here, right in front of me. And during the day, I'm taking them almost every day. Why? Because there's clear evidence that there's high inflammation with parasites leading to mental disorientation and dementia, heart problems and gut problems. I don't want that. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying we're always in a world where we're around radiation, EMF. We're around too much sugars, fake fats, bad fats. We're around pesticides all day. Those cause mold increase of toxicity, increase of mold toxicity, increase of parasitic toxicity, and even increase of strep and staph. It's been shown in clinical studies. But I want you to know that you have to keep an eye on this and keep working with it and cleansing it. People say, well, when it's done, you keep getting your parasite testing done and see when they're all done. We're all cleansed out. You can do it. I'm there for you. I'm cheering you on. Guys, please check out these supplements and find the one that resonates with you. I got more information coming out soon about parasites. But listen to this podcast. If you guys like this information, please share it to those that you love that may have hormonal problems and they have the digestive issues, even heart problems that you think could be parasitic related. Send this to them. If you like this, give us a like. If you want to subscribe, we'd love for you to subscribe and drop us a comment. I'm trying to get better at looking at all the comments because I want to be able to answer all your questions. Okay. So let's do well with this and see what we can do. And I'm going to put down the links to these supplements in the show notes. Guys, until next time, I'm Dr. Chris Motley. I hope you have a great day. God bless. See you guys. Bye.